Thank you for your curiosity with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of today will be competing for the K-Series 100-pound national title on May 24th at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens. With us in the goddamn room is Julio PrimeTime Segarra. What's
Sure
up,
says it
brother?
all.
PrimeTime says it all, man. I don't think you need to say much more than that, bro.
Yeah, once you hear prime time, you know you can't be walking away from the ring. You got to stay for that one.
That's the one, man. And then probably going to be another fight of the night like last fight, man. Last fight had me at the edge of my seat. I was like, what are we doing here? Who's stopping this madness?
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, it could go as fight of the night, but I'm looking to get the knockout of the night. That's what I'm looking for.
You know what? Sometimes you could look for the knockout. It just doesn't happen on that night, but at least you put on a show the entire night. But that's what
Oh
we
no,
were all
100%.
really
But
happy.
I fought him before. You know, I have some experience with this with TJ. He's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like I am the better fighter. I'm working hard for this one. I've faced him before. I know his power. I know his strengths and some of his weaknesses already. So like I feel like this one we get it done before 4 or 5 rounds.
Absolutely, man. Damn, man. With today in New York, though, we had an earthquake. Then we had the little
Earthquake.
aftershock.
Yeah, that was weird. You know, it's funny. I was in my room. I didn't feel nothing. I come upstairs. My mom was like, "Oh, that my family's texting, doing a group text." I'm like, "Bro, I didn't feel nothing."
You must be able to sleep through anything, bro. Because I was sitting here at work. I'm on a call. I'm in the middle of this, and like I start feeling everything moving. I was like, wait a minute, hold on now. You
Yeah,
know,
nah,
it's
bro,
it
I didn't
got us a
feel
little.
nothing.
But thank God that's the case, man. At least you didn't have to
Yeah,
go through it.
thankfully
Because I know
everybody
me
is
and my
okay.
family. Thank God,
Exactly.
brother. That's what we're talking about. My family hit me up immediately. They were like, "Are you good? Are you
Yeah.
good?" Because I
No,
felt that.
yeah. The group chat was my phone was just buzzing constantly. I'm like, yo, I felt nothing. This is crazy.
Damn, man, you got it good then. But let me start off with
Yeah.
this one. So usually, Julio, on the podcast, I start off with the same question because in order to understand the present, I do believe that we have to catch a glimpse of the future by looking into the past. So what were you like as a child?
Man, I was just a curious kid. Like I would just like be outside, just having fun or just learning. I would be outside a lot playing sports, if anything. I grew up playing baseball, football, basketball. I did it all, man. So I feel like that definitely even helps me to this day as far as my footwork and everything. But yeah, I was somebody that I grew up in the city. So as a kid, I was out of the house by like 12 p.m. Wouldn't be back home till like 12 a.m. Stopped at home real quick for like a quick meal, go right back outside. You know what I'm saying? So, my childhood was dope. It was dope. I grew up with, I got a few brothers and sisters. So having them, we were around the same age. We made some memories together, played sports together, got into fights together, you know what I'm saying? So I had a good childhood, man. Definitely.
That's wonderful, man. And you one of those kids that probably came home when the lights came on in the street. You was like, oh, I gotta go. You know what time that
Yeah,
is.
man. Absolutely, bro. Once the lights came on, I was like, nah, mom wants me home.
I believe that one. I remember those days back when we were playing Manhunt and you knew the lights came on. It's time to go home. We were about to be in
You
trouble.
Hispanic, bro. You know the deal, you know what I'm saying? You're not home by the time mom says be home, you get the chancleta, you know what I'm saying? We don't want that.
Yeah, we got the biblical ass whoopings, but eventually
Yeah,
we
yeah.
grew up and realized, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying, man.
I
I
will
got
say
you.
that
I
as well
got you.
about my childhood. I got my ass beat. I was a good kid, but sometimes I was a little hard headed. You know what I'm saying? But maybe the person I am today.
Absolutely, brother. I know exactly what that's like.
You're
But
right.
eventually you end up training martial arts. So what's the beginning of your martial arts journey look like?
Like, bro, the beginning when I was in elementary school, my mother she put me in what was Excel Martial Arts in the Bronx. It was in Castle Hill, right under the 6th train. So that's where my journey began. And as a little kid, like I was kicking everything. That's actually why they ended up taking me out. At least that's what my dad would tell me. Like, yo, you kick everybody, dog. And then they put me in baseball after that. But that's where I first, had gotten like a taste of it. I played baseball from I was young up until college. Burned out with that. Then I got back into MMA and kickboxing, and then started there. And once I got back into it, it was a new love. You know what I'm saying? So I've just been fully immersed in it ever since then.
That's beautiful, man. And I was reading up and I read national silver medalist in kickboxing. It's one of those key moments that I think a lot of people they gloss over it, but like a national title is a national title.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. We had went to Tennessee for this competition. It was my first time competing out of state. I'm somebody who loves to travel, so this is one of the perks that comes along with fighting. You get to travel. So when I had gotten there was a few guys in my weight class, so I knew I was going to be fighting a few times over a few days. The first guy I had fought is when I got my first knockout, clean KO, knocked him out with the left hand. Second fight, I faced this kid. He was pretty tough. Caught him with a clean body shot with the left leg, put him down. Won that one by unanimous decision. Last fight, I had went over there battling a little bit of injuries. I will say every time that I went out to Waco, I've been a little banged up. No excuses, but the last fight, my left calf was like really tight, but it was still like a really good fight, really close fight. But unfortunately, I lost. For me, I'm the type where, if you're not winning gold, you're the first loser. I'm very, much like that. So at the moment, I wasn't happy with it. But like as I look back, it was a great opportunity, but it definitely helped, put me on the map to some people, to experience that. 'Cause in this competition, there's headgear, there's shin guards. You don't see many knockouts, clean knockouts, especially like that. So to go out there and bring prime time to the people of Tennessee, it was pretty dope, man. And I look forward to doing it again.
And that's a good time, brother. But you know what? You put on. You went to Tennessee. That's a tough place. I can tell you that much
It
from a
is. It
little bit of
is.
experience. It's a very tough place. But man, you went out there with the injury. You got a silver medal at the national level. That's, brother. There's a handful of people that can probably say that, and probably even less than that. But
Yeah.
I do see you repping your Boricua heritage very proudly, I might add,
Yes,
which I
sir. I was gonna
love.
say the same thing about your Dominican flag too.
Yeah, brother. You already know the islands is where it's at. We is.
Yes, sir. Always got a rep.
But I see you repping the Puerto Rican flag. I always see you with your culture on you, and I love that because that just shows where you really come from. Those are your roots. Hey, here we go. Yeah, man, I know who I'm looking at. I know the peoples. I'm cool. We all love here, brother. But there's a lot of champions, especially in boxing, coming out of Puerto Rico.
Oh
And it's
yes.
not just the men; it's the women too. Amanda
Yes, sir.
Serrano, her sister
Oh, I
Cindy.
love
I
Man
think it's
Serrano.
Cindy or Cindy Serrano. My apologies to the Serrano sisters. I forget the second one's name. But I do know that both were phenomenal world champions. And we
Yeah.
have Miguel Cotto, who I got to meet when I lived in Florida. Absolutely
Oh, did
kind
you?
human being.
Oh
Yeah, I got
man.
to train with him during the Margarito 2 camp. He
Oh,
was another level
one
of
of my
human
favorite
being
fights
when we
ever.
were in that camp.
One of my favorite fights of all time.
And
Just
yeah, that
watching
revenge
him,
was sweet.
get his revenge.
I put like $300 on a bet.
Hey man, Cotto's definitely one of my favorites of all time, bro. I have a few Puerto Rican boxers that I look up to. A few Puerto
Exactly,
Rican
man.
fighters.
And it seems like combat sports is big in Puerto Rico. Do you intend to bring more kickboxing or like the Muay Thai style
Oh,
to the Puerto Rican people?
absolutely, man. I will say one of my main goals in life is to go to Puerto Rico one day and hopefully open up a kickboxing gym. Because I mean, look at us, man. We're talented. We're naturally gifted as far as athletics. We have tons of players in the MLB. We have basketball players. We have even a soccer team now. So and even the history of the boxing, you got like people like Miguel Cotto, Trinidad, you've got, Hector Camacho, you've got so many people, even Berlanga, coming up. A few other guys, from the Bronx, like Josue Vargas. But my goal in life is to bring kickboxing most definitely to Puerto Rico, and show them that this is something that we can do as well and be very competitive. And even people like Amanda Serrano, some people don't know, but she's also has an MMA background. It's not just boxing. She's elite at both sports. So I feel there's definitely, something that we could bring to the sport.
I took a lot of that from Puerto Rican style of boxing was
Mhm.
to dance like we were dancing side to side. That was what they were telling me. Yo, on
Exactly.
salsa, you start boxing, you know what to do, forward and back, forward and back. We got a game plan.
It helps, man. Like it definitely has helped my footwork, and that's too. Like I actually have a little bit of a dancing background too. I was in Starlight Dancing School when I was like really young. It's a school in the Bronx. I don't know if it's still running, but so I think that definitely helped me as well, like on the footwork department.
Yeah, of course. It always helps with the footwork. And then guys like Lomachenko does that style of dancing they do in Ukraine,
Yes,
and his
sir.
footwork is ridiculous. Like the
Oh
stuff he can
man,
do while off
absolutely.
balance.
Yeah,
Was
he's
watching
another
him
one of
do
my
that too.
favorites.
Yeah, man. And then speaking of Amanda Serrano, I think she actually was competing in BJJ for a while just to get really good at grappling. So
Yeah.
I'm happy you brought it up. I'm hoping that her next fight is, PFL. They have it booked already. We can see her do the damn thing. There's not a lot of people that are willing to do it, especially from boxing to MMA. It's difficult. So her as well as like Clarissa Shields. Those are the
Yeah.
real. It's crazy to say, but the two women have the most balls. Like they will step up to anybody at any time.
I agree. You know what? There's a ton of people that don't like the women's fights. I don't understand it, man. Some of the women's fights, man, are better than some of the men's fights. Like just off the top of my head, Zhang Wei Lin and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. One of the best fights I've ever seen. When Joanna had that cookie on her forehead. One of the best fights I've ever seen, And people just don't give them the proper respect. So I feel like I watch all women fights as well. I love them. I think they compete just as much as the men.
Yeah, we're at that point now where I think, especially the generation coming in, we're accepting it as like, yo, these athletes are fucking amazing. And
Facts.
some of these girls, they try to kill their opponent. Like we were like, holy shit. Even my wife was
Facts.
watching it the other day. He's watching a fight with two dudes, and they were out wrestling each other, and it was great. It was like really awesome to watch the scrambles. But then the girls came out, and she's like, "They're trying to kill each other." I was like,
Yeah,
"Yes,
they have
yes,
more
they
to
are."
prove. Yeah, they have more to prove. At least that's how I
I think
feel.
so. That chip is on their shoulder heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. I
100%.
feel you on that one. But right now, you're 6-2 is your current record, correct? I haven't seen it
Yeah,
change since
yeah.
then, but
It's
I want to
funny
make
you
sure I have
mentioned
that
it to me
right.
the other day, and then I was actually just thinking about it in my gym. I'm like, yeah, I'm 6-2. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to just make sure because sometimes I feel like in martial arts, like unless topology's on top of it, there's really not a lot of like ways to check the records, especially with kickboxing. I wish kickboxing kind of had like what box rec is. Box rec,
Hmm.
keeps it in order for you so you know
Yeah.
exactly when it happened, exactly where it happened, according to the licensing. So it makes it easier, but I'm happy that the sport is keeping up enough. Right now, you're in RFC Promotions, being a
Yes, sir.
huge player right now in the kickboxing scene and MMA scene here in New York.
Yes,
What are
sir.
your goals for RFC Promotions? I know we have the May 24th fight, but aside from that, are there anything else you're looking forward to?
I mean, as far as RFC goes, we just trying to bring it to the top. As far as as long as I'm an amateur. But even then, actually, well, they have pro fights now, so I'm hoping to build my career early in the RFC organization. They look after me. There's one thing I love about fighting for RFC is that I know they're gonna put on the best shows. As far as the matchmaking goes, they never are gonna put somebody who shouldn't be fighting someone else. As far as like experience goes, like they're gonna put together good matches. I always take whatever fight is offered to me. I've never turned down an opponent. So one thing is that's why it makes me happy because I know they're gonna offer me somebody that I know I'm gonna want to take that fight, and I don't have to be like, oh, they're not on my level, or it's very professional. And to go through that in an amateur stage is beautiful because my goal in life is to go be a professional fighter. So when I take that next step, I'll be ready.
Hell yeah, brother. I definitely believe in that. And I'm seeing it even with the guys that are coming over to the promotion. And a lot of the pros seem to be very happy when they're fighting there. They don't seem like they're stressed out with their normal antics. You train
Mhm.
under Coach Ricky at Rigoro
Yes,
Martial
sir.
Arts, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
you guys utilize that Dutch style of kickboxing, which is amazing. Are you influenced by any other kickboxers from either that style or even the Thai style? Are there any influences there?
I take influences from everywhere. I would say, as far as kickboxing, my favorite fighter of all time has to be Giorgio Pedrosian. I look at guys like Regan Ursel, who's actually going to be in our gym for a seminar on the 27th, I believe. He's another one, a long, rangy fighter that I like to watch. Jonathan Haggerty, he's another one that I love to watch. His teeps are crazy. His lead hooks to his kicks are amazing. Rod Tang, everybody loves Rod Tang. He's a juggernaut little guy, just stays there, does his little neck thing. But yeah, man, like I love kickboxing. Even like the old days of Ramon Deckers, guys from those days as well. What's his Bakwa, Sanchai. So I look at everybody, bro. I just try to find things that they do and take it from them, and make it mine.
Absolutely, man. That's part of the martial arts game that a lot of people forget. You can be inspired by someone else and do it your own way.
Exactly.
I think the terminology is like following somebody else's footprint or
Mhm.
following someone's path, but leaving your own footprint. My apologies.
Exactly.
I had
Oh,
a
I
whole
like that. Actually, that's
thought.
something I like that term. I'm gonna use that now.
Yeah, yeah. I used to say it with my brother. My brother was, may he rest in peace. But when my brother was alive, he was a great wrestler. He won a New York State title. He was a phenomenal wrestler, like leagues ahead of me. And he was smaller than me, like shorter, older. So he beat the crap out of me wrestling. And I tried to wrestle. I was a terrible wrestler at the amateur level. But there was somebody that would ask me, like, why are you wrestling? And I said, I'm trying to be like my brother, but I'm trying to follow his path, but I'm trying to leave my own footprint so that they know, like, hey, this is when Danny wrestled. It's not when Rafi wrestled. When Rafi wrestled, it was a completely different game. That guy, could hit people with 8-point moves out of nowhere or cradles that were just sick. But
Yeah.
we're
My
looking at your
condolences.
career now. Yeah, brother, it's all good, man. It's been 14 years. You miss your brother every day when he's gone, but let's rank 40th in New York State for kickboxing. What are you hoping to accomplish over these next 5 years in an ideal world?
40th. I can't. I honestly, there's not 40 guys better than me. I'll tell you that right now. But man, the goal is just to be professional, and not only that, like when I go out there, I want to be entertaining. I want to look good. I want to kick ass and look good doing it. But I'll tell you that right now, there's not 40 guys better than me, bro. No way. Or 39.
Hey, man, that's just what the rankings are. That's what New York State said. I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not in there.
Tell them to bring a
But
rep
what do
to my
we?
next fight.
We're gonna have to bring one of those New York State reps and be like, all right, so you said 39 ahead of me. All right, let's see how this goes for
Yeah.
you. But what are we looking for in the next 5 years of your career at this time? Do you have a plan at least for these next 5 years, or how often you want to compete?
Next 5 years, it's honestly hard to look that far out. Just because, to be honest, with this game, anything could happen. You can get injured. I'm hoping to be a professional within the next 5 years. I'm still figuring out whether I want to stay on the kickboxing route, when I would like to transition to MMA. It's not a matter of if I'm gonna go to MMA, just a matter of when. So I just got to get back to my BJJ and my wrestling and everything. So we'll see. I'm open to whatever. I even want to get some boxing matches as well. I'm somebody who loves the combat sports world. So within 5 years, I kind of want to just spread myself out and see, whatever paths open up, and just try to, travel as many different paths as I can and just have fun, live life doing it.
That's awesome, man. I love that. You got that true warrior spirit in you, and I respect that.
Yes, sir.
We were watching your K Series fight the other day. I was replaying it just to like, because I had watched the fight live, but in the moment you kind of like you get a little too hype and you're like, oh, and everything
Yeah.
just excites you. So I had to rewatch it. I'm watching it. You seem to enjoy exchanging with your opponents. Is there something that you like? You thrive in the chaos? Like, yeah, hit me, fool. Watch the two that I bring.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I'm in there, I feel I can brawl with anybody. I'm somebody who, once I feel a punch or a kick and I feel like I can take it, and it's, not so much of a worry to take a hit, and then I'm gonna get knocked out. If I can stand there, bite down and go, I can do it. I have no fear. I'm just, when I'm in there, it's a different mentality, and I think that's another thing about the prime time. It's like an alter ego. When you step in there, it's like a flip that switches. It's like animalistic when I'm in there. It's a primal kind of feeling. So when I'm in there, man, I'm just trying to, get the person out of there. So if it comes to a point where I'm just taking a few punches, I'm willing to stand and bang. I'm also somebody who can fight a technical fight. If you want to fight a kickboxing fight, I can fight a kickboxing fight. If you want to stand here and bang, I can do that too. I can do either or.
Yeah, man, it's solid. And speaking of primetime, where did you get the nickname from? Like, was it selected? Was a family member around, and they were like, that's primetime right there.
The funniest thing, it's like there's nothing behind it. I was just like, I would have my phone and I would just think of like, I'm gonna fight. I know what's gonna happen. So I would just come up with nicknames. Like, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Like, growing up as a little kid, I was Spider-Man like 10 Halloween straight. So first it was gonna be like Julio the Spider, Julio Spider-Man, but then I'm like, it's too close to Anderson Silva. I wanted something that was for me, like not for anybody else. So I'm thinking like, what names sound good with my name, that isn't something that's used too much. So, Anthony Showtime Pettis was a huge role model of mine. So I was like, I kind of like his style. I'm a flashy fighter if I'm going to do it. So I'm thinking, Showtime, but I'm like, he got it. So then the name Primetime popped up, and I'm thinking, there's only like football, and then I only know one boxer at the moment who has the name Primetime. So, if I make it big, this is something that I could use. There's not how many other people using the name, and Primetime just sounds good, and it just goes perfectly with my fighting style. I am Primetime. When I fight, you do not want to miss it.
My man is already selling pay-per-views. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's the
Yes, sir.
branding. But speaking about branding, how would you like the public to perceive the primetime brand that Julio Segarra is putting on? And when they're buying your merchandise and they're trying to see those collabs that you do maybe with other businesses in the future, you're having your own line, something to that effect. What should people expect, not just from the quality, because obviously we know what it's going to come out like, but when they're supporting you, what can they expect when it comes to those type of things, especially when it comes to your brand? We put the primetime brand on something. What does it mean to everyone else?
Well, I mean, as far as my brand, I just wanted to represent just people being themselves and going for broke. Like, if you have a goal in life, go for it. Because at the end of the day, you only live life once, and you don't want to be miserable thinking back years later, like, oh, I could have did this, I could have did that. So prime time for me is me going for broke, me going for my dreams. So that's kind of the message that I would think about. And also, I'm somebody, again, I like attention, I'm flashy. So prime time is like when I'm fighting, all eyes on me. So those are the things that I would like people to think of when they see the primetime branding. However, there's no merchandise out yet, but I do gotta get that going. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta get some people to support me a little bit more. Need some more fans. You know what I'm saying? But once I get that love, once I get a little bit more spotlight, I know it's gonna happen. So we got ideas. We're just gonna keep it to ourselves for now. But when the opportunity goes, we going up, and we're never coming down.
Oh yeah, brother, I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Now, this is my final question for you. And I know that it is early in your career, but when it's all said and done and you take off the gloves for the last time, you put it in the middle of the ring or in the middle of the cage and you say, you know what, thank you guys for this. I appreciate you for the time and the journey. What do you want your legacy to be in combat sports?
I feel like a lot of people now would, or maybe years back, you would watch Floyd Mayweather, right? And you would see guys 50-0. You see a lot of guys who pad their records, because they want to be known as the greatest of all time. As far as me and my fighting, I just want to fight the best possible guys that I can fight. I don't take any easy fights. And when my career is all said and done, I want to be known as a warrior, somebody who's fought the best of the best. And whether I won or lost, I put on a show.
I like that, brother. That's what I'm talking about. The best fight the best. That's what we need in the sport. A lot of individuals don't want to do that anymore. I don't know where that came from, but that's not what we like. Oh, fuck yeah, man. That's what we want. Julio, thank you so much, everyone. Julio PrimeTime Segarra. You can follow him on IG. I'll make sure to link that in the description of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Julio, thank you for coming on, brother. Absolutely, man. Yeah, brother, and best of luck. May 24th, we'll be rooting for you. We'll be watching on the pay-per-view for RFC Promotions. To those of you watching, thank you for your curiosity, and keep your peace. Later, brother. Take care, man.